So those have already been mailed out?
They are in the mail today, so voters can expect to see these in their mailboxes, I would say beginning this weekend, the first part of next week. So, and we know from historically in the past that we'll probably get by this week next time or a week from Friday in the next 10 days, we'll have 20, 30, 40,000 of these returned. And so, again, we do encourage voters to fill these out and get these in. Because with 150,000 of these, it's going to take us time, a lot of time to process all of these.
So you had them out for the primary. Did voters have any issues with the driver's license? Did you see any common mistakes kind of with this new process in the primary?
Sure. So we did see just a little uptick maybe in, again, in issues with early voting requests. The major issues that we would have, one of the issues is, writing the numbers and then of course the letter in the box. So most Nebraska driver's license start with a number, G, H, something like that, and then fill in each of the numbers. And then again, the common one is, you gotta sign it. You gotta sign it. But again, we ask voters, please, fill in a phone number or an email or both. Because if you forget something or we have questions, we will reach out to you to help resolve that. But we can only do that if we have the ability to do that.
So if voters were like, oh, I think I forgot to sign it, they'll get a phone call, you'll let them know?
Email or phone call.
Okay.
Yes, they will. Any other questions? So,
Is there anything that maybe you learned from the first time of doing this that you're doing slightly different now? Or
So one of the things I would say we learned is we didn't know how much longer it would take to process these with the voter ID component. It wasn't a ton more time, but it is a little bit more time. So there is added processing time. So that's why, again, with the expected 150,000 of these, we just really, really are asking voters, if you like to vote early, please get these in earlier rather than later, for two reasons. One, it helps with the processing time. It's more efficient. Hopefully we won't have to pay as much overtime. We are funded by the taxpayers, so that all adds up in the end. And the other issue is, if we have an issue with your request, the more time we have to reach out to you, the more time the voter's allowed to, correct that issue.
so about how much more time percentage, like 20% rough estimate?
I would say maybe it took an additional, we're really talking probably 30 seconds an application. I don't have a great, but I would say around 30 seconds an application on average. But again, when you're doing 150,000 of them, 30 seconds adds up to days and weeks. So,
Have the number of early ballot requests kind of stayed flat throughout this kind of voter ID process, or have more people chosen to go to the ballots, or is it about the same as it was?
it's about the same. Before COVID struck, we were seeing an uptick in early voting. I always said, I thought, well, if I stay here long enough, maybe someday I'd see 50% early voting, but I thought that was probably a long shot. And then COVID happened. And then of course, in the May election of COVID, we saw over 95% of folks voted by mail. And then folks really learned how to use the by mail during COVID. And we have seen a lot of voters like that. So now we're pretty much steady at the 50% early voting, 50% polling place voting. The May election was a little bit of an anomaly. We were over 60% on the early voting, but I think for the presidential, we'll settle back in about that 50-50. And voters absolutely should vote the way they're most comfortable, whether that's by mail, at their polling place, or in person at our office. And we encourage them to do that. I should say, if you get one of these in the mail and you want to go to your polling place this year, or you want to come to our office and vote in person, simply just don't return it. That's all you have to do. There's no opt-out or anything like that. The only thing you need to do is, if you want to by mail, is to request an early voting ballot. Yeah, go for it.
Can you speak at all about the felon voting lawsuit, about how that affects voters as it stands right now?
Sure. So, as you're all aware, there was some opinions by the Attorney General and the Secretary of State a couple weeks ago. So the current directive from the Secretary of State and the Attorney General is that unless felons have been pardoned, have had their rights restored, they're unable to register to vote at this time. I'm sure you're also all aware, earlier this week on Monday, there was a lawsuit that was filed with the Nebraska State Supreme Court. And so we obviously anticipate that this issue will work its way through the court system. Have no idea on a time frame or what that impact will be. That will be left up to the courts, I guess, at this point in time. So the directive at this current time is that unless felons have had their rights restored through a pardon, they're unable to register to vote.
There's nothing you can do about that because that's coming down from state law.
That's the directive. Yes, that's the directive we've been given for all 93 counties. That's correct. I would say if voters that are affected by this have questions, they could reach out to either the Nebraska Secretary of State's office or the Nebraska Attorney General's office. They may have further clarification. We just don't at this time. Anything else? Well, thanks for coming, everybody. If you guys want to do something since you got a little late, I'm happy to. Nope.